What's going on, y'all? Thank you for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So, we're at a point now where I would say, as you've heard me say before, this part of the season is very crucial. After the All-Star break, you got to be playing your best. You got to be at your best, and you have to be on your best, behavior at every point in every time, all points, all times while you're on the floor. You don't want to get extra technicals. You don't want to be kicked out of games. You don't want to be out because of injuries. You want to build all the chemistry you can, and you want to be at your best going into the latter part of the season, going into the postseason, which is the playoffs. And any type of setbacks can hold you back from a lot of things. And see, the problem with the Clippers which is very concerning for the Clippers, Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard, the two main players, were out against the Pacers game, and then they lose another game. They come out the All-Star break losing back-to-back games. That's not good. So, when you look at that in its entirety, it looks troubling for the Clippers because the first game against the Bucks, you had Kawhi Leonard and them there, and you lost that game. And then you lose the Pacers game without, Kawhi, Norman Powell, which, some can expect the Clippers to lose that game possibly, but the Clippers are a very, very competitive team, and they have good enough defense to stop a lot of the Pacers players, to me, in order to get the victory. But at the same time, missing two players of that caliber, I definitely understand, especially a Kawhi Leonard, because of how he affects the game on both ends of the floor. But you got to be at your best at this point in time of the season. Injuries and all that, you just got to hope that doesn't really, take over the Clippers, the injury bug. Now, I know Kawhi was out for a foot soreness, and I believe Norman Powell was out for knee soreness. But every game counts at this point, every single one, because you're not really playing well. You're not really playing great. You're not doing the things that you're good at, which is defense. You're not playing that at a high level. And the Clippers are playing pretty good for a few quarters during the game, but they're not finishing out games the way they should. Now, of course, we can always sit there and blame that on coaching and blame it on, whatever, front office staff, all that. But it's really not like what people think. Some people think you could just plug in players and it's all going to work out no matter what, as long as you got the right clientele, as long as you got the right players on your team, it's going to work. Chemistry goes a long way. And like I said, the Clippers are not building chemistry enough to me right now with, Kawhi being in and out of the lineup. Now, hopefully his foot soreness doesn't linger, which I don't think it will. Norman Powell's been kind of teetering with a little minor injuries here and there during the season so far, so it just doesn't look like everything is going exactly how the Clippers needed to go, because like I said, they haven't been playing great basketball really for about a month now. So when you think about it, it's not looking good the way they're playing right now. They were playing better prior to maybe a couple weeks or about a month or a month and a half ago. They were playing a little bit better in regards to being more competitive and just, trying to finish out games better. I feel like they're playing a lot of lackadaisical basketball, and that's not really the time. This is not really the time to be playing lackadaisical basketball, because this is the time where you're trying to implement your playoff seeding. And that's another thing with the Clippers. You're in the 6th seed, but the Timberwolves are right behind you. And look at the schedule. You got the Lakers coming up twice. You got the Phoenix Suns coming up. The Pistons. You got some teams that can really challenge you. And like I said, if they're not gelling, if they're not figuring out what their strengths and weaknesses are, if they're not playing if they're not playing to their strengths, all your weaknesses are going to show, and you're going to lose games that you really shouldn't be losing. And see, that's where the Clippers are right now. They're finding themselves in situations where they might be falling and losing games they really shouldn't be losing. So, the Clippers got to figure this out quickly. They really do, because I don't want to find myself talking about the Clippers being in the play-in tournament and fighting their way, clawing their way all the way out the play-in tournament and try to make it to the NBA Finals. They can't make it to the NBA Finals being in a playoff spot the last couple of years because Kawhi couldn't stay healthy. So you think the possibility of them going from a play-in tournament all the way to a championship is possible? Yes, it is, but it's very, very slim, because you don't know how much dependency you can have upon Kawhi Leonard and his body of holding up, and even other players, because Norman Powell's not the youngest player either on the team, nor is James Harden. So, you have to think about these things. So, every game the Clippers have an opportunity to win, they got to find a way to win them. They can't be blowing 22-point leads and playing good all the way up to the fourth quarter and then have a collapse the way they did against the Bucks You can't have these things happen, because when you do, it only hurts you in the long run. And you're trying to sit there and figure out what's wrong, what's the game plan going into these games. Why aren't we finishing the way we should? And it's a bunch of pointing fingers. Oh, well, we need more offense from the second unit, or no, it needs to be more offense from the starters on the team. See, it turns into a blame game of pointing fingers, and that's not what the Clippers need, because you're trying to win and you're trying to build. And when you're in that process of trying to build, you have to do it the right way. And the wrong way of doing it is pointing fingers and looking at everybody else. And just a few weeks ago, we heard players talk, even Kawhi speak on need more from the second unit, this and that. Well, that's true, but also need consistency out of Kawhi being on the court. Also need consistent game plans going into games from the coach, Ty Lue. Also, you need less turnovers. Also, everybody needs to play to their strength, which is more so defense, so they won't be blowing 22-point leads. It's a lot of things we can point to, but at the same time, it's all about figuring out a way to win. Because if you're winning and you're figuring out a way to win, then the blame game is not there. But mostly, I just want the Clippers to stay healthy and see what their chances are. Try to win at least, a few more games, because right now it just really doesn't look good for them. I don't know what they need to change up specifically, because they're going in games with the right game plan. They're just not finishing the game out. They have leads in these games. They have leads in the fourth quarter. They have leads when they need to, and they just kind of like take their foot off the gas and let the other team take over. And they had the same type of problem a few years ago. I just don't understand where these lulls and these downslides are coming in at, but I don't know how or why, but they better fix it soon, because the playoffs will be here before you know it.